All right, we're being recorded.
Is Trisha coming tonight?
She's on.
Is there?
I'm right here, Cal.
Hi.
Hi.
All I see is Vinny's purple car.
Well, I'm in the light. See if you don't turn the light on. Oh, Trish, get the light on now.
One more minute.
She's got a jailhouse sweatshirt on.
Hi, Tina.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you look like you just came from a tropical island.
I did. Today was the Hawaii shirt day at the clinic.
Yeah.
No, sorry, I missed it.
You did. It was pretty good. Everybody got a leg. It was pretty good. They did 304 hours.
You don't remember this, but when Mike Graff was our agent,
Every Friday.
he got hired a week later. He said, "Hey, Vinny," he says, because I was chair. He said, "Can I go Hawaiian on Fridays?" I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Well, let me show you." He brought in some shirts. I said, "Holy crap!" I said, "Yeah, I guess so. You'll be colorful out there doing inspections." But
I remember every Friday you used to wear one.
oh yeah, Hawaiian.
So they
Friday.
did 300 and how many vaccines they?
Just over the Uxbridge.
Yeah, how many?
There was like 300 in the first 4 hours.
Wow, that's really good.
They were standing in line 4 deep in front of me. I didn't just to breathe today.
Now you still have to make an appointment, right? Everybody makes an appointment.
Yep.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Okay, it's 7 o'clock. It being 7 o'clock, I'd like to call the order of the Bellingham Board of Health for April 20th, 2021. I'm Kelly McGovern, Chair, Vincent Forty Jr., Vice Chair, Trisha Leclerc, our member, Bruce Wilson, our health agent, and Tina Griffin is here for our minutes. And is anyone else on here? No. Okay. Our first order of business is minutes from April the 6th. I've read through them, so.
Me
I'm
too,
finishing
I'm
up.
I'm good.
I'm almost there.
It was a short meeting, not a lot of minutes.
Oh, yeah, there's still some stuff. Okay, I'm good. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as written for April 6th.
Okay, I second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes unanimously. All right, coronavirus updates.
Hot off the press, I forwarded to you guys as I got it. They've come up with some new quarantine mandates for the school kids. If they're exposed with masks on, they don't have to quarantine. If it's a whole list of things that I gave you. Take a look. And I expect to see some mask changes in the next few days here from the governor. Other than that, the clinic over in Uxbridge still going strong and vaccinating like crazy there. So we've been very busy. We were able to get all of our housing people vaccinated last week. Still a number of people, Trish included.
Yeah.
So we had a pretty good turnout there. We were able to vaccinate everybody that came through, other than 2 people that weren't able to make it. So hopefully they can get vaccinated somewhere else. Hold on, I got somebody trying to sign in here.
That was for their second though, right? We got them there first, but they were going for their second, or are you talking about someone else?
It's all seconds. One of them, our janitor had a reaction and fell, get dizzy, and was hospitalized, so he couldn't make his second. And then we had somebody who was not able to make it due to an appointment conflict.
Yeah.
Everybody else was vaccinated and had a couple extra doses, so we were able to get some people their second vaccine where they had got their first at another location.
Yep, things are going really smooth.
Yep. A lot of stickers and lollipops made a lot of people happy.
That is true.
Okay. Let's see.
In your packet there's an emergency. Let's just check to make sure nothing's changed on as far as your phone numbers and stuff.
Well, that was the other thing that was brought up too. We should probably have a discussion as to what is an emergency on weekends and after hours. Poor Bruce is working pretty hard, and having a call about Planet Aid bins is not really an emergency on a weekend.
Correct.
So I don't know, maybe throw it in an email for Monday or something like that. But yeah, so maybe, you know, obviously oil spills, like gas spills. I mean, all those obviously are major ones that need to be contacted, but the minor things like the bins, even you know,
The only comment, Kelly, is
even chickens, you know,
right.
I mean,
Are the bins called in though that day, or they called in on Monday?
No,
I
so
don't know how
don't-
they work.
they're
I mean, I have
so
seen them out on the weekends, not to interrupt you, Trish, but I have seen them go out on weekends.
Okay, I'm
Typically,
just
they
saying,
don't-
sometimes the weekend is a fall over from Friday. So Friday was a work day till 1 o'clock, and, you know, it's
But
not
there's
an
no need to
emergency.
call them on a Saturday or a Sunday.
No, I
that's
know.
possible to get in.
That's fine.
Call
I mean,
Kelly,
you-
she's got all the
you
connections.
religiously out
I
there.
know.
I don't want to be called about it either. It's not an emergency.
Okay.
Because I get calls too from residents. It's enough with that. But I mean, you know, I put it in an email and I sent it to Laura, you know. It's not an emergency. Some of those, I'm like, unlike, you know, when we had the oil spill down the acres, or, you know, we got the gas spillover at one of the gas stations. Obviously, that's an emergency, but some of these other ones aren't necessarily something to interrupt, you know, Bruce's weekends or after hours. You know, we can put that in an email, you know, and just let him know to follow up when he's back to work. Cool.
Good.
All right.
Thanks, Craig.
Permit discussion, Bruce?
That's
Or
actually,
no, that's Robbie.
Rob, you out there?
So,
I'm
Rob,
here. Can you guys hear me?
oh, okay.
Here we go.
I couldn't log in with the app. It kept telling me that I didn't have a stable connection, so I figured I would
Okay.
call it. Everyone can hear me okay though, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. I had my headphones in, so I wanted to make sure. So I know we
Uh-oh, we're losing you.
still
No,
Rob, we're losing you.
can you guys hear me?
You're in a dead zone, Rob.
You're coming in and out.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still, don't move.
Okay. I know we kind of continued this from the last meeting. I did reach out to town council. I got kind of an answer from them regarding a couple things. The person that I spoke to is not our usual town council, and I did try to run it by Attorney Riley, but he really didn't have anything else to add compared to what the other attorney had briefed me on. So I kind of laid out what the Department of Revenue had informed me with. They also called the Department of Revenue and got the same information. So the workaround that this party has found is currently legal. And there's not really a whole lot we can do about it until either we regulate against it in a revised regulation, or if we or if the Department of Revenue decides to make changes to how they are currently perceiving distributors and how they are allowing them to basically exist at this point. So I don't know how much of it you want me to rehash as to what they are and aren't able to do. Basically, the only advice that town council gave me was to see what you guys thought, and we would go from there. So I wasn't sure if there was anything.
I don't know if we should issue them anything. I think we should just leave it as is, let it stand.
Okay.
They found the loophole.
Yeah, it could go either way. I feel like no matter what you guys decide, it's not going to be the last time we hear of them or from them, just because of, I'm sure that if they end up using this loophole and if they are successful, I'm sure we're going to hear about it from other businesses, or, you know, if they're not successful, I'm sure they're going to come back to petition for a permit again, or whatever the case may be. I quite frankly do not have an opinion either way as to what happens. I think that it's more the devil you know. I'm a little bit leery of the fact that we would not have any authority over them, so we wouldn't be able to inspect them and make sure that they are operating properly and, you know, not selling things that they're not supposed to. That would just be up to the state. But
Yeah, that was my concern. I know Rob and I
Yeah,
did
yeah.
speak about it. And if they were to go that route, we really don't have a way to regulate or inspect or to come down on it, and if they're doing something we don't like. So I mean, you may want
Isn't
to.
that part of the loophole?
yes, essentially. So their only regulating authority would be the FDA and the state, but both of which are, I think they only do inspections once or twice a year, and not doing inspections currently with COVID. So it's just one of those things. I don't have a preference either way. It would be a little bit, not so much nerve wracking, but it would be a little bit different to have them be able to sell all of that from a storefront and potentially cause issues with other retailers. But at the same time, as you said, Kelly, they found the loophole. So if they can exploit it, they can exploit it. But
I don't
it's
think
just
we
more of
should.
a,
Yeah.
Now,
Make
Rob,
it-
just, Trish wasn't at the last meeting, but just for the purpose of rehashing a little bit of it.
Yeah.
In other words, they
Yeah.
can have everything that we say you can't sell in Bellingham. So like an adult only establishment, but it cannot be walk-ins. It has to be strictly online. Or am I
so
wrong?
basically, yes and no. So basically what happens is they can sell technically any product, period.
Okay,
They can sell anything that is currently banned by local regulation, but they can also sell flavors and things of that nature that would just have to be sold out of state, which is kind of another, you know, can
yeah,
of worms in itself. But it would have to be an online transaction. They can do pickups from the store itself or from the warehouses, it would be considered.
okay,
But they would not be able to use it as a storefront. So like they can't have signage directing people inside or things like that. They would have
Okay.
to basically have an online transaction, and they can do, you know, local pickup or we will ship to you.
okay. So that said, I don't see how other businesses will say, well, they're selling illegal stuff because we only ban what's being sold generally at a store in the public, you know, come self-service. But I guess online, you can buy anything online. But,
Basically, yeah.
you know, and, you know, if you bring it into Bellingham, it's banned. It doesn't make a difference because technically, I don't know, it's not a violation of our law because it's not physically,
Bellingham go online and buy.
what was that?
What was that, Bruce?
People from Bellingham go online and buy and circumvent going to the store.
Okay,
Yes. So people,
that would
people
cause-
from anywhere could go on.
But they wouldn't be able to set up their inside of their store like a store
Retail.
because
right,
it's more like a warehouse. So it needs to look like a warehouse as far as I'm concerned, right?
correct, yes. It can't have big
So
signs saying vaping products, flavored stuff all over the windows. It can't say that
No.
because that's going to throw gasoline in a fire and all the businesses will complain. You know, I don't blame them if that's on a windows, you know.
But is that the case, Robbie? Like they can't have signage, they can't have like a store set up inside because it's a warehouse.
Yeah.
Warehouses aren't set up
They-
like a store.
Right.
Yeah, so they wouldn't be able to set it up as a storefront. They could still have signage because they do have the option for basically it like in warehouse pickup. But someone would not be able to theoretically. So here's the thing. Someone could not theoretically walk in off the street and say, you know, I want to buy that jewel. But they could stand in the parking lot, place an order, and do in-store pickup, and then walk in the door.
Oh, they
Right.
can. Oh, okay. That's the same thing. I thought they have to get it shipped to them and not an in-store pickup. Okay.
Yeah,
Ugh.
so they could do like in warehouse pickup or ship to the individual. There's actually, I have run into this more in some of the other towns, but apparently there's a bunch of vape shops and um, tobacco stores that are doing delivery. So like people will FaceTime the clerk and pick out which piece of glassware they want, and then the clerk will get in their car and deliver it to them.
Okay,
So it's
that's okay, but coming in to pick up in-store pickup, I think that's where the other vendors they'll just go crazy, you know? You know,
Yeah,
Oh,
Oh,
it'd have to be like a curbside pickup.
essentially, yeah.
yeah, well,
we could still check on them to make sure you just can't walk in there and order something.
correct, yeah, that's true, yeah.
You can't just walk in and say, okay, I want 3 of these and without doing
Right,
an
right,
online order.
yeah, so you could still do that, Robbie, right? They're not exempt from inspection, so you can find out if they're, first of all, you can also find out if they're selling to someone under 21. I mean, which is state-wise illegal, you know?
Well,
Well, first of all,
that's the thing
they
is
can't just do retail, but yeah.
No,
I don't know where our regulating authority, and town council did not know either, where our regulating authorities would kick in, because they are technically not permit holders, so they are not bound to the conditions of our tobacco regulations,
okay,
because those strictly apply to those who are retailers of tobacco as opposed to distributors.
okay, so that said, it sounds to me like,
We need a distributor.
no,
We
no,
need a
no,
distributor bylaw.
no, I'm thinking before this turns into, how do I say it? Everybody's saying, hey, this bandwagon's a good one to jump on. We would
Exactly.
give them, I know, Kelly, you give them a variance to get a permit. Because then we can regulate everything. You know,
And what would stop anybody else doing the same thing? 10 more come in doing the same thing. You have to give it to
I
everybody
think
else
we
that
could
comes
do it
in.
I think we can do it as a twofold thing where, I mean, if the direction you want to go so that we have the regulating authority is to give them the variance, we can also put something into the regulations that we don't allow tobacco distributors within the town. That could be something we can add into
we
the
can do that,
regulations.
yeah,
I knew
yeah.
there was something else we wanted to add in regarding the fine structure, just some verbiage in there. So maybe we can do a revision that includes both of those.
Yeah, yeah,
So we know that loophole is then closed, at least in town.
right. And like I said, the only variance we're giving is a distance thing, which everybody in business realizes competition is good for business. You know, for the customer, it drives the price down if there's many places selling, the same product, even if you knock it down 10 cents, it's the fact that, it's, how do I say, it's the American way, it's business, you do what you got to do. But the other way, it gives them, I can see it now, you're throwing egg in the face of all the businesses who are holders of permits. See, everybody turns in their permit and becomes a, what do you call those, distributor type thing, warehouse, and you still can do an in-store pickup. And I'm saying, nah.
Yeah, but it should not be set up as a store inside. It'd have to be set up as a warehouse. They wouldn't be able to go in there and look around even for a second and be like, I want that. If you're a
Right.
warehouse, that's not how a warehouse is.
Correct. Well, I don't know if that, like I said, I'm trying to say what Robbie just echoed is this could start a whole sort of permit on, let's get rid of our permit, because it's like when everybody wanted to be adult only and we said we only have one. And then we finally got that one gone, so there's no more adult only. But that said, you can imagine everybody holds a permit and says, I get inspected, I can't sell this, I can't sell that. And then the warehouse, even though you can go on your phone in the parking lot, order it, come in, pick it up. It's the same, to me, that's the same thing. People aren't going to see that. If you're in business, you say, oh, really?
It is, but it's not. So like the stores that we already have established, most of them don't just sell tobacco products, you know what I mean? Like
Correct.
they sell scratch tickets, which are a big,
Right,
you know,
moneymaker,
big
yeah,
money maker.
yeah.
Some of them sell alcohol, you know, I mean,
Right,
that
right.
place would not be able to do that, as far as I'm concerned, right? Because
Correct.
it's a warehouse. Or can they? I don't know.
They could technically be distributors of whatever they would like.
Right.
There
So
is
I guess
no,
like,
they could sell anything out of that store. They would be licensed through the state as a tobacco distributor, and then they can obviously get, general merchandise distributor license or whatever the
Yeah,
official term
yeah.
is.
Oh, I don't know. So, I don't know, maybe we, like you said, town council can't give us any more. Do you think the state can give us any more, like, or they're just gonna tell you, now this is a loophole and you'll have to decide what to do? My
doesn't make
opinion
sense.
is,
Doesn't make sense that they even have this loophole, to be honest.
no, my opinion is you give them the variance. We got control of what's going on. Everybody else will be treated equally. The distance thing, it's only for those businesses that are close to them that would say like, well, geez, I don't like competition. I don't think it's gonna make a difference for one extra business within 500 feet of another business. Especially when they realize the alternative is they can sell anything and order it on a cell phone, walk in, pick it up. And Robbie, you'll never know if they say, oh, while I'm here, can I have one of those? And the clerk says, sure,
Well, that's what I'm saying. They shouldn't be able to do that.
Correct, but it's hard to control that. The other
Right.
way is give them a variance and get them a permit,
Right.
We don't want to revise the bylaw.
Well, yeah, we would do that too, right? Just like Robbie said. So there's no more of these.
Do we
And-
have to do it too?
You mean at the same time?
Just revise the bylaw.
Yeah,
I
you can't
feel like
revise
you
them.
might
They'll be
run
grandfathered. You can't revise it for anybody else you can, but not for them.
Distance requirement, Kelly?
I'm sorry?
Are you saying take out the distance requirement that we put in?
No, definitely
No.
not that.
No, I was just, okay.
I think what she's saying is, let's see if I got this right. We would make sure that if we put in a reg saying there's no more distributing warehouses, that you can buy via an app or a phone. But this one would be grandfathered. So I think we just, put that in after the fact and give them a permit so that we don't get anybody else. Obviously, when you sign a lease, you have to make sure it's legal to do in the space you're doing it in. That was their
So
fault, but
Yeah, so I agree that we give them the variance and allow it this time and then work on our bylaw for
Correct.
sure.
Yep.
I can work on revising the regs and have a draft for you guys. The next one, I can reach out to Attorney Riley and have him help me out with that and try to put something together and work with Victoria Perkins and Vincent Piccolo were the two that I worked with at the Department of Revenue, and get some more information from them to make sure that we, eliminate the potential for this happening in the future. I did actually have one more thing I wanted to bring up to you guys regarding the distancing requirement, and it was something that another town actually asked. So I figured I would get the answer from you guys. Because it is a new regulation that was put in for the 500-foot requirement that was added last year at the same time as the flavor ban. In the event that a store sells, are we retiring the permit with the sale, or does the permit get sold with the business? Because I can only think of one retailer in town that is actually 500 feet away from another retailer.
So let me make sure. So you're asking if somebody wants to sell their business and they have a permit, are they selling the business with a permit? Is that your question?
Yeah, or is
No,
because then
No, I don't think
because
so.
then okay, because then technically when they would go to apply for another permit, they would no longer be in compliance.
Correct. Well, we only have one like that, you're saying, or do we have many?
We have many. I can only think of one that would not apply to.
Oh, okay, wow. So I guess that's it. That's interesting.
So Rob, if you revise the distance requirement, what's the average that you're coming up with? Is it 300, 400, 500, 200?
I mean, some of them are significantly closer. Most of them are in the 250 to 300 foot range. I mean,
Yeah.
even thinking, you know, coming down Pulaski Boulevard, you have Cumberland Farms and
Yeah,
Rescue Lantern that are directly across the street from each other. Vape City and Hilltop. I mean, AJ's is right next door. Benny's
Yeah.
has a permit. And then right next door to Benny's being Stop and Shop. I mean, every single one of those is about 250 to 300 feet.
Hmm.
Yeah, and we put this in place
Last
after the
year.
fact. Yeah.
Would we, I don't know, I don't know, what's it for alcohol? When you sell a business, you sell a license with it?
Yes,
It
Okay.
Just like a
depends
restaurant.
on
Okay, so in that
yeah,
case,
it depends on the business too.
okay, in that case, just so we don't have we call a massive run on variances, why don't we just say you can sell the permit with that? However, the permit holder, the new one, must come in and register so we know who's responsible for that.
Right.
permit.
I was gonna say
I
can
agree.
I can put something in that reg that says that, you know, within 30 days of purchasing the business, they need to renew that permit under their name.
Correct,
or it is
correct,
gone.
That would be good.
right.
Okay.
That'll resolve that issue because, you know, we got so many businesses in South Bellingham that would be affected by that, you know.
Robbie, I had a question. Is there another CBD place open in town?
The two places that currently sell it, well, two places that sell it prominently are the CBD Relief Store and then Smoking News on the north end of town. I know Vape City has some stuff. I did hear rumblings that there was another one opening, but there's not really a whole lot we can do about it because we opted not to limit the number of stores.
Yeah. I was told by an outside source that it was going to be opening somewhere on Pulaski Boulevard.
I heard that as well, actually, from one of the owners of one of the other stores I had just mentioned.
Yeah,
are we still getting, Bruce, the all the business licenses being requested? Or we have to sign off before they can be granted it, right? When it comes to anything to do with the Board of Health?
If it's new, yes.
Because that's a Board of Health thing now,
If-
right? Robbie
right.
turned that
If it's a
on.
renewal, no, we don't have to sign off on a renewal.
No, but it's a new
but
business.
New ones. That was where the problem was lying before, was we weren't being notified. They're already open doing business and we're like, how the heck
Correct,
did this happen?
yeah. With CBD Relief, that was the case. They just opened
We
up.
haven't seen anything yet then, right, Bruce? Because we haven't, can't hear you.
I haven't seen anything yet on that.
But that said, would CBD Relief or those other stores, they didn't need to get a permit yet because we don't have a finalization from the state as to what's allowed and what's not allowed.
Yeah, the plan was supposed to, I mean, the state was supposed to issue more guidance last week on basically what products were going to be basically more affected by that broad statement that they put out. I think that they realized that putting the, you know, medicinal claims and therapeutic claims clause in there eliminated most of the items and they got some pushback. But
Yeah.
they have not released any updated statements on that. Obviously, with COVID going on, the state's slow enough to begin with. But,
Okay,
I am basically just waiting on their revision to be able to confirm everything, and then we will have everything in place.
okay. I think we can, you know, just keep following up and we'll see what the state does. And then we'll do it accordingly what the state, you know, I guess.
Well, we
wants.
usually do follow the state.
That's right.
Yep.
Less chance of getting attacked,
Exactly.
you know.
Let them be the bad guys.
Yeah, right.
All right, so is that everything on tobacco, Robbie?
That's everything I have. Do we need to have an official vote on that permit?
Maybe we should vote once we see the draft of it.
Right,
Right.
right.
You were
No,
gonna revise.
Oh, you mean the
variance.
variance? I think once they get it, do we have to give a variance before they can apply for the permit? Yes. So is that what you're asking, Robbie? Do you want us to make a motion to grant a variance for 18 North
I know
Main?
that it's 19 North Main, I believe. I
19?
believe
Okay,
that they
19.
have either already applied or tried to apply.
Okay, so why don't you reach out to them and tell them that, well, I guess we should make the variance thing so they can come in and get a permit. Because if they come in to go get a permit, they can't get it without the variance. So if that's it, I'll make a motion to, is it 19, number 19?
19 North Main, yeah.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we grant number 19 North Main Street a variance from the distance requirements from tobacco store to tobacco store. So they're able to apply for a permit and then follow Bellingham regulations.
Okay, I second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Reluctantly aye.
And then Rob, you can work on getting a little bit of language with town council on no more warehousing to avoid, what do you call it?
Copycats.
Yeah, well, what we call it, distance requirements.
I can,
No, it's
yeah,
all about the
I will
loophole
figure
is
it
what
out.
it is.
Right.
I will work with Attorney Riley and figure out there's some verbiage to, eliminate distribution of tobacco products in the town of Bellingham.
Okay.
That was unanimously voted on. Okay. Next is budget printout, and I see Mary is on standby just in
Yep,
case
she's
you
on
have
standby.
questions. Let's
Mary
see.
and Laura went and they marked up the sheets that you had, just so you can understand where the funds were going, and some of it she's in the process of trying to recoup for us. Hi, Mary.
Hi, guys.
So Mary, the professional service is a combination of both the tobacco agent and Esther's overages. Is that what that 36,000 is?
Yeah, so we need to talk about a couple of things if I could. Do you mind if I jump in, Kelly?
Absolutely. That would be great. Thank you.
So I looked at, I was chatting with Laura today, and if you have questions, I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. If I need to go back and do research, I will certainly do that. But you guys have essentially 3 funding sources, and I think we need to talk about each of them. The first one is the Food Inspections Revolving Fund. And so that's the set of account numbers that begin with 6215. And I did send out really late, about, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes before the meeting, I sent out an email to you guys, and I don't know if you got it. But there is a series of expenditures that have been posted to that fund that total about $36,000.
Yeah.
Did anybody get that? Okay.
I didn't get the email, but okay.
Okay, sorry. I sent it out to the Board of Health distribution list, so I hope that's the right way of communicating with you guys. So what happened is I took a look at that, and it appears, so in that fund, we are definitely charging expenses related to Esther and related to Robert. And in addition to that, we are also charging some firefighters who participated in some of the clinics. And this may in fact be the Uxbridge services for March 17th and March 24th, if I remember correctly. But the issue is this: we had exhausted our CARES money, our initial allotment of stimulus funding through the CARES program. However, there has been an additional stimulus package authorized under the Biden administration, and it's called ARPA, A-R-P-A, the American Recovery Protection Act. And Bellingham stands to receive an allotment of funds through ARPA. The problem is that we do not have guidance yet on what those funds can be utilized for. I fully expect that we will be able to utilize those funds for Esther's services. But the problem is I just don't know yet if they have a date range restriction that says only expenses incurred after XYZ date. that might coincide with the ending of the CARES stimulus package. So I'm waiting for guidance on that. There is a webinar tomorrow that I'm attending, but I'm not sure they're going to get to that level of guidance. But once I do know what I can and cannot do in terms of moving Esther's expenses out of this revolving fund and into that stimulus fund, then I will let you guys know, because my expectation is that all of her services have been truly purely COVID related for essentially the last year. So we should be able to move all of her expenses, which are about $17,000. In addition to that, the firefighters expense, which is about $3,200, we should be able to either use ARPA funding or direct reimbursement from FEMA on those. So I'm anticipating that I will be able to move the $3,192 related to the firefighters out of your revolving fund. So that will restore some available funding back into that revolving fund. I don't have an exact number yet. Again, I'm waiting on guidance, but I'm trying to maximize as much as we can to not hit our revolving funds if we have an alternative funding source. That being said, your fund today, that particular food inspection fund, has about $40,000, almost 41. We'll call it 40,000 and a half. So there's definitely funding available in that revolving fund. However, and this is the big however, your revolving funds, all revolving funds, are limited by our town bylaw to the extent that we are allowed to use them in a given fiscal year. And so if you look at our town bylaw, the food inspection, let me pull it right back up here again. The food inspection revolving fund is limited to $35,000 worth of expenditures annually. So if we can't move these expenses out of here, we're going to be in some trouble. But my expectation is that we will be able to move some expenses out of here. Okay. Because you've already had $36,000 worth of expenditures in this fund, which means that if we couldn't move that money and charge those expenses elsewhere, then we've exceeded our allotment and we'd have to stop what we're doing immediately. But
Let me ask this question, Mary. The 35,000, as I understand it, on the fiscal year, June 30th, anything over 30,000, 5,000 goes back into the general fund.
no,
No.
no, definitely not. All that limit, all it says is you cannot incur and pay expenses in excess of that limit in any single fiscal year.
Oh, okay.
Okay. The funds stay within the revolving fund, but you cannot incur and pay $40,000 worth of bills.
Okay, so now we are above the 35.
Yes.
So what does that do? Gives an auditor a nightmare or you a nightmare?
It means legally I can't authorize any more expenditures out of that fund.
So if we had true food inspections to be done, we couldn't do them. That's totally wrong.
But
Whoa.
well, Vinny,
Yeah, sorry.
so that's not what I'm saying.
Right.
Okay. What I'm
Okay, got it.
saying is it's clear to me, certainly the $3,000 worth of the firefighters expenses will be moved out of there to free up some capacity. And that the 35,000 is limited to the food inspection expenses.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yes. So in other words, if we have more than 35 at the end of the year, it just keeps growing.
If you cannot in any single fiscal year, given the way the bylaw is written,
Right.
you cannot incur food inspection expenses
Right.
in excess of 35,000.
Okay, but you can keep putting fees into it and it can keep growing or no?
That is true.
Okay. Oh, I didn't know that. See, I thought the opposite was true.
Okay.
That's fine.
No, the restriction is on the expense,
The
not
expense.
on the revenue.
Not the revenue. Perfect. Okay, good.
Okay.
That's great.
So then the second part is if we switch over to the tobacco revolving fund,
Right.
the tobacco,
15, right?
No, wait, hang on a second. I'm sorry, hang on. The tobacco revolving fund has a $20,000
Oh,
limit.
20, okay.
Your food inspections have a $35,000 limit. So right
Correct.
now, you've been charging Esther and Rob and those firefighters to the tobacco revolving fund. I misspoke. I apologize.
Oh, not the food. Oh, so we're way over.
So, yeah, so we're way over on the tobacco. On the
Okay.
food, I did just send you, and you probably have not seen it. I sent it while you were having your conversations. I did send the 2 reports related to food inspections. And we are facing the same problem there with the food inspections. Let me pull that up again.
Looks like 33,000, but this was prior to you sending in a new one, I think.
So I just sent it at 7:05. So you guys were already underway in your discussions. The food inspections, which is Fund 6210. You have incurred $33,000 worth of expenditures so far. And your limit, where'd it go?
How'd that happen, Mary? It wasn't from tobacco inspections.
Well, she said it was from Esther
Oh, from
and
us.
Robbie.
Okay.
Yep, so if I open up, hang on, I'm just opening it right now.
Yeah, okay.
We got to look at some true volunteer options here.
Mm,
Well,
Because they're available to us.
I had talked to Dennis a while back in regards to the concerns about where we're gonna get the funds from, and he told me that it wasn't anything to be worried about.
That's right.
And now
you did.
here we are,
Yep.
hitting our max budget.
Yep, it's definitely something to be worried about. So here's what I'm going to suggest. So I did send out a couple of reports to you guys tonight. We are definitely up against limits and hitting issues right now. And until I can get guidance to know how much I can move out, I don't have a clean set of numbers for you. However, what I'd like to do is participate in your next meeting and follow up and see if we can't clean some of this up. So we definitely have issues with food inspection and with tobacco, but the good news is that in your department budget, which is your operating budget, which is your general fund appropriation, you do have a professional services line in there of, let me just confirm it, of $13,000.
Okay.
510. Yep, of $13,000, which you have not used yet. So I'm going to have to look at these 2 revolving funds and figure out what I need to reclass. Some of it's going to end up being charged to that particular budget. And that's why I need to follow up with you guys and give you guys a revised set of numbers to let you know what you have remaining. But you are certainly very tight.
So
I'd
let me
like,
ask,
I'd like Dennis to come to the next meeting to discuss that too, only because I called him personally. And then
Right.
Mary, do you know if any of Esther's money was used out of the grant money
Yes.
that was sent for COVID
Yes.
relief?
You mean, have we charged any of Esther's other expenses? Yeah, absolutely. A lot.
okay.
Would you like to see a list of that as well?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
would
think so.
actually,
Yeah,
please.
definitely. Yeah.
Yep, I can definitely do that.
Because I know we had gotten that grant money to pay for stuff for the COVID relief, and I'm just
Yeah.
curious
How
how
much
much we
was
used
that
of that
grant
for
money?
her.
Yeah, we've definitely utilized all of that. And I can get you a full accounting of that for sure.
Okay, perfect. Thank
Because,
you.
I'm playing the devil advocate, Mary.
Yep.
I'm sure you're going to resolve it, but in the meantime, since it's now in violation, who's in trouble for that? It shall not be the Board of Health, because we're not spending the money. We're depending on, let's say, your department to pull the monies from wherever we have to for Esther. Certainly Robbie is food and tobacco. All his funds are perfectly authorized by the nature of his inspections to be drawn from that. Esther's, we said, be a dentist, that we would find another location. We thought he meant from the town coffers, some other fund.
He
Not,
said not to worry about it. Yeah.
yeah, I know.
Okay, all right. So we will resolve this, and I'm sure
Okay.
we'll come up with some solutions, but I also want to just to let you know that that we run the expenditure summary reports and we send those out, you know, that the Board of Health as well as the 2 revolving funds. And you guys get them from us on a monthly to bi-monthly basis. And that gives you an indication of where your expenditures are at.
Bruce, we might want to include that in our stuff because we haven't been getting that as a board.
No, never.
We
Never
have
seen
not.
it.
That's correct, yeah.
So we have been in the dark on a lot of this right here. This is a complete surprise in a year.
And actually, we were asking where the COVID money was going because we knew we
From
were
day
getting
one,
lump
we were
sums,
asking.
but.
Yeah.
So this is actually kind of a shocker for us, Mary. I know it will get resolved and we'll get it figured out, but from our point of view, it's a little frustrating only because we were trying to stay ahead of that the whole time, you know?
Okay. Yep. Sure. Nope. Understand.
Do we have any idea on how much the ARPA fund is going to be at all? Do we have any idea how much that is?
Yeah, so the town of Bellingham, and this is for all purposes, this includes police, fire, you know, all municipal operations. We're estimated to receive 1.7 million. That is supposed to carry us through about 24 months of continuing to battle against this pandemic. Okay. But again, I don't know when those funds are, when they initiate. At least, you know, we knew with the COVID funds that they were available back in March and they expired in December. We don't have any of that information yet because the federal government has not released it yet.
Okay, so Mary, with the COVID, we had a list of eligible things you could do. I remember it said originally, because when the first meetings of the LEPC was, there would be no overtime, there would be no police and fire funding on the original COVID. It would be supplies, masks, gowns, gloves, and a slew of things. But specifically, this one here now, it can cover anything, anywhere in town. So overtime.
So no, so I'm
No.
not saying that, Vinny. So the problem is I don't have the guidance yet to know
Okay,
what
okay,
is eligible or ineligible.
okay.
We will interpret it as broadly as we can. But the previous COVID funding, I think you may have misspoke slightly that the previous COVID funding, the CARES Act, certainly covered police and fire.
It did, okay, okay.
It covered cleaning and, you know, town buildings, schools.
Right. Was that the first one? Was that what the middle one? Maybe the CARES Act was the middle one. Because the initial COVID funding went March, it was March 20. That's different. Those funds were like, we got 10,000 one time and.
So, okay, so you're talking about a grant. So
the
grant was much more restrictive.
Correct. Oh, okay. I got that confused. Okay. That's what I was talking about, the grant.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, you guys did receive some smaller grants, but then we also had a larger stimulus package that was made available, which we did utilize certainly for first responders.
Okay, fine.
Service levels went through the roof. And we also used in addition to the grant funding, we also used the CARES stimulus funding for things like Esther and other PPE.
But that's all gone and we're still exceeding those revolving funds, right? So I guess the goal will be, once you get the guidance, out of this 1.7 million, you need to make this ugliness disappear, right? From the Board of Health perspective. Because it don't look good when you're,
so
you're managing the department, let's say, right? And all of a sudden we don't know where anything's going. It's not our job to play budget, but it is our job to play budget.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
but it is. So we need to make sure that you guys are getting the reports that you need for sure.
Right, right.
We have
Because you know, the board does have the budgetary responsibility of that. So Bruce, I'm going to take a look and show you those reports that you've been receiving that need to get to the board. Okay.
All
And we'll go over it. So I would just say, take a deep breath.
Okay.
And let me know when your next meeting is, please.
On the 20th.
Yeah, and again, I'd like Dennis there as well. I'm sure we're gonna be able to figure this out. I mean, I'm sure we're not the only town that's dealing with this. I mean, the Board of Health took on quite a bit for the whole COVID situation, so.
There's some things that we can do on our end too. Like I said, there is definitely some volunteer people and volunteer options that we could have to maybe take away some hours that don't need to be on Esther's payroll type thing. I mean, there's plenty of help out there that we just aren't using.
Which is great because in our call this morning, Esther was.
I know I was there.
Oh, okay, that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah, so
Um,
that would be great.
Yeah, and I've already made some calls and I'm waiting for some responses on that. So we
Okay.
should be able to find some.
Excellent. So I don't want to wait until then and for a whole month to chat with you guys. So what I'm going to do is I will continue to work on this, put some information together. I'll sit down with Bruce and we'll go over it and we'll make sure that we get it out to you guys via email. You can feel free to contact me and we can answer any questions. But then we'll publicly circle back at your next meeting in May. But we need
Okay.
to.
All right,
Great.
Okay.
sounds great. Thank you.
You guys all,
Thanks.
you guys all got the
Thanks.
email from
Thanks,
us
Mary.
regarding the CC.
I didn't hear that, Bruce. I'm sorry.
There was an email sent out by Esther this morning at about 20 after 8 regarding the CTC closure, the contract tracing. So
Yeah.
she's gonna be-
Yeah, I had made some contacts on that one about volunteer options on trained Maven people.
Okay.
So I'm just waiting for a response on that.
All right.
Volunteers.
Okay. Excellent. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mary.
That's definitely something we have to talk about as a group though, is
Yeah.
even the clinics, can we get more volunteers to do the inoculations as well? So we don't have to have such a, I mean,
Yeah.
everything's being put on our budget here.
But we're all done with the clinics.
Good. All right, well, that's done.
Yeah, but I did hear, okay, Bruce, one thing I did hear. We're not paying for any funding for people inoculating people at Uxbridge, are we? Out of our revolving fund?
I believe that the firefighters were
Yeah.
the bill.
Oh, they were, okay. But that has to end because we're way over now. We're not
Yeah,
even
we can't do it.
close to 20 grand. We're at 33,000. The budget is 20, you know? I mean, put it this way here. If you're in charge of the funding and the three of us are, that's, I'm gonna say borderline, critically, how do I say it? Not doing your job. You know, and no one's, you know, I'm not gonna be accused of not, you know, knowing what's going on, you know, because we
Well, I
obviously,
guess we were kind of told that the money would come from somewhere, that we
Right,
should
yeah,
worry.
yeah.
And here we are saying, wait a minute, we were told not to worry, but we haven't been getting reports either. So
Right.
right.
this is the first that we're hearing about this.
Yeah,
And now we're in the red.
Yeah,
right.
by a
Oh,
lot. So
that's
we
not
have,
good.
to make some cuts on people's hours, and they're volunteer. When they're not
Correct,
volunteer, they're
correct.
getting paid. So something has to give here.
I
Yeah,
agree
Bruce,
totally.
unfortunately, we're gonna have to stop the firefighters, like,
Mm-mm,
because we're gonna go over budget.
can't do it.
Well, we're way
Like
over
right
now,
there.
so, right.
Yikes.
I don't remember seeing the firefighters coming through with the Uxbridge stuff. I believe that those
I thought I heard that. I could be wrong, but I
no, I
do,
think you got them mixed up. Those were for the
those for the
clinics
the clinics at Depot Court and Rentham Manor, right?
and the senior center.
And the senior center, okay. And that was 3,100 or 32. I can sort of live with that. That's small compared to the other
Can we not
numbers.
get like a pay history or something? So don't we have to sign off that this was being done or sign, because it's
I
on
know
our
if it's a
budget. I
detail,
mean,
we have to sign off, but obviously
but we haven't seen
So-
anything on them even for our, or maybe it hasn't hit yet. The senior
No.
centers and we
So
haven't
I
signed
know
off anything.
they had us, when the firefighters were at the clinic, when I was there, I had signed off on the firefighters that were
Okay,
there
okay.
at the time.
Okay,
Well,
Um,
that's, you need the board, you need two people, you need two people to sign from the board.
well, no, when we had a detail
It
for
was-
Earth Day, I signed
That's
once.
considered a detail, isn't
Yeah,
that?
it's a
detail.
That's payroll according to our budget.
It is, but it's a detail. It comes out of a budget. They
That's-
took it, they stuck it in tobacco,
that's considered detail.
right?
Well,
They're
when we
getting-
did
they're
detail
getting
for
paid
Earth Day,
detail
two of
pay.
us had to sign.
Now, here's the other thing I have. obviously, we need to
But you
fix
guys are,
this.
but Kelly, either way,
Yeah.
you guys already knew that they were doing that. So even if I signed off on it, it's not
I
like you
guess
guys
I
didn't know
only
about it.
knew, last week that they were getting paid and it wasn't a true volunteer. The email we got was that we needed volunteers.
Correct,
If
yeah,
they're going there, they're not volunteering, they're getting
Right.
paid.
right, right.
That's different. The
And that's
email we
overtime,
got was
too.
we need volunteers.
They were looking for volunteers, but if they don't have enough volunteers, then they have to use other sources. I mean, how else do you run these clinics?
That's true, yeah.
You know, we were paying firefighters to do paperwork. I mean, we could have had pretty much anybody do that, right?
Right.
Not just give
Well,
vaccines, but I mean,
from what I understood, there were people that could have volunteered. And they said they didn't need them, but yet you had the firefighters there.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I do remember that
What's
someone,
done is done. It's,
Right.
you know.
well, the only other thing
hey,
that,
I donated 5
Thank you,
days of my
Tricia.
time.
yeah,
I know you didn't get paid. I know.
I didn't
Well,
get paid,
right.
but
One
I
of the-
did what we needed to do to help out.
Thank you, Tricia.
Thank you, Trish. So one other quick thing, the only thing I kind of want to make sure doesn't happen, I don't know if Robbie's still on, but Robbie has tobacco inspections to do and food inspections. There's no way with not having him do his inspections, which those funds supply the funds for. Because that would mean the town of Bellingham is going uninspected.
Well, it's not even that. He's not over budget on his stuff. If anything,
No, no,
he's
what I'm
bringing
saying
more
is his
money.
money's
He's bringing
coming
more
out of there.
money into the town with the fines that he did this year. It well pays for him.
That's
So,
probably where the $13,000
I-
comes from.
Yeah.
Right,
I
okay,
know.
okay, that's fine. Yeah, you're right. I guess, that's fine. But, we don't want to have our,
No, we're
Inspection
not gonna
program.
not do him. He has to be done. I mean, you
Correct,
got food poisoning, you've got to, believe me,
Right,
you guys,
right,
that's a necessary thing, not that.
yeah,
COVID
no, I
isn't,
just
but-
wanted to make sure that I didn't hear that wrong, like, oh, baby. Okay,
Yeah, I
fine.
know.
Whatever. I mean, now we know.
Okay,
learned.
Earth Day fly, oh, sorry. Go ahead, Cal.
Birthday flyer. I looked at this already.
I want to get off of money right now. It's bothering me.
Yeah,
It's a blank,
okay,
it's a
Vinny.
blank check. Vinny, it's a blank check.
I know, yeah, I know, yeah.
If people just did use the town stuff like their own personal checkbook, right? You wouldn't be so free to. things,
It's like anything else. You have to live within your budget. And you have to know who's
It's
got the
hard to do.
hands in
This year
the,
is an exception this year. This year was tough.
right, I know. COVID did.
Poor
make a lot of
Mary's
sense.
throwing balls in the air trying to make everything work. So,
I know, I
no
know.
one's fault. It was.
I feel sorry for that, because, COVID, does more than disease and kill people and hurt people. It obviously messes up budgets.
People's businesses.
I mean, we
livelihoods.
were definitely throwing a curveball, but I have a pretty good feeling that this will be resolved one way or another. So
Okay,
I wouldn't worry about it too much right now.
okay.
All right, so let's carry on to what did Vinny want to talk about?
Earth Day
This is
flyer.
Earth Day flyer. They put a flyer out. We didn't do Earth Day this year because of so much going on with COVID and social distancing and all that. But we're still asking people to go out and clean up their neighborhoods. And if they do, if they participate, they can get their free t-shirts. We have all those t-shirts left over from last year's big 50th anniversary of Earth Day. So we have so many t-shirts left
That's good.
over. So that's what this is. And she's, Laura did a great job on this and she's posted it in different places. So I think she's.
Yeah,
gonna
we
post
should
it
probably
again.
post it on our Facebook page too.
Yeah, good idea.
So
We haven't posted
technically
much on
Earth
it in
Day
a
is
while.
tomorrow, right? Technically, it's tomorrow, but
Yeah, the
it's all
22nd.
week long. How are we doing this, Kelly? How long is it running? This weekend and all that, so that we can
It
get
should
people.
run all year, Vinny. Every day should be Earth
Yeah,
Day.
yeah, I do it, but
You
that's
know,
besides
if
the
they
point.
want to take,
Right,
let it happen, just, I
If you
think
live on a
that's-
main road, you do it every day.
I
Or
do it every day.
every
I don't
week.
live on a main road.
Yeah.
Okay, notice of aerial larval control application. I saw the mosquito control up at my retention pond this morning, Bruce.
Beautiful.
He's on the phone. He's
Were
on the
they
phone.
aerials or were they putting in pellets in
They
the
were
water?
spraying. They were spraying something.
Perfect, okay.
All right.
Yeah,
Was it the truck, the Bell and Howell, or
Let me
it
jump
was
back.
definitely like a pickup truck. I didn't read, it
Okay.
was,
it's
the
the
county or
white pickup
something?
truck says Norfolk County
It-
Mosquito.
yeah.
Control.
Those are pellets that they did last year. They dropped pellets in the wetland areas and
Yeah.
those pellets killed the
this
larvae.
guy had a spray.
It's
This
not.
guy had one of those back
pellets.
spray things.
They drop pellets from the helicopter. You would think they were spraying, but it's actually dropping the pellets in.
Well, he wasn't in a helicopter.
No, if you saw the truck, Bruce, the truck is a spraying.
The truck
It's,
is out
It's done
spraying.
usually early in
Yeah.
the morning, yeah.
The
Okay,
truck was out today. He was out of his car and he was spraying around the retention pond at the end of the
that might
street.
have been private.
It said Norfolk County
No,
mosquito.
no. They have a truck, Bruce, that has like a hose and a big tank.
Yeah, no, I mean, people can call in and request that. So
Yeah.
that's been a private
And
spraying. I can check on their website.
So
it says
Kelly,
it's not a
maybe-
spray on. It says not a spray on the letter, but he was definitely out there with his back thing.
I mean, I've been forwarding you guys all of their
Yeah.
Yep,
stuff, and
that's good.
it's related to the larvae. But
Yeah,
I-
by the way, they are out already. One rainstorm and the mosquitoes are back.
Yeah.
You know, I guess the drought doesn't help, even if you have one rainstorm.
I just for your information, I checked out for a second and called Chris Milo, and there are no funds that were pulled for the Exbridge site from our account.
Okay, perfect, good, thank you.
And that their funds should be coming from funds if they do send us there.
Okay,
But I mean,
Yeah, I figured once you said that and I did the math, because I knew how much they were getting paid an hour, I figured that it was only for the clinics.
right,
Our
'cause we
clinics.
had two,
Okay.
2, 4, 6, 8, and 10 guys at 57 an hour for 8 hours each
okay,
would have come out on the local housing and senior center clinics that we held. And then,
that's fine.
as you
Yeah,
heard,
that's-
she's gonna try to recoup that because she thought that we might be able to get some of it from ARPA and some of it from,
Yeah, that's why I'm not really too concerned about it. Let's wait until the funds come in and talk to Dennis and we'll figure it out. Wouldn't stress too much about it, but it's a lesson to be learned, that's for sure.
no, but being accused of not doing a very good job wasn't too cool either, you know, it's leaving me with a bad taste. That's all I'm
Well, it's not so
Oh,
much,
I gotta
it's violating a town bylaw and, you know, whatever. But the
It
good
doesn't-
news is, I didn't know this. I thought that when each revolving fund, because both of those, I went to FinCom with, I think, one other member at one time to get the funding for those. And I always thought anything over 35 and over 20 automatically on June 30th goes into the revolving fund, but it does not. It stays in there. The point is, the wording that I got confused on now is, as Mary explained, you can't spend more than 35 out of that fund a year. We never did, except this year. We never spent more than 35 or more than 20 in any calendar year. Because when we set them up, I originally went and applied for 12,000. And Chairman Calamati on the FinCom said, Benny, we're gonna give you 20. He said, that way there you can't overspend it. I said, oh, okay, great, you know, and all our fees from tobacco and all our fees from food go into that fund. So, you know, if the funding for food every year and a half exceeds 35,000 in terms of revenue. That said, there's no more of that 35,000 in the kitty requirement. It's, you can't spend 35. There's no way Robbie, as both a tobacco and food agent, can ever spend that kind of money, you know, on inspections, you know.
Well, they're two separate accounts too, so
Correct.
one is for
20 in one,
tobacco and one's for
35 in the
food.
other. But there's no way he can do that many inspections in a given year, you know, and yeah, and again, if a new restaurant comes in, it's a new fee, it just goes into the thing. So there's no way we can overspend those. It's gonna be overspend them on the agent's job.
Yeah, on a typical year when we're not in a pandemic, I absolutely agree with you.
Correct. Well, because even that year with inspections, we didn't stop inspections except for when they were closed. But we certainly took money out of there somehow. And as we just found out, that wasn't allowed. So I'm gonna be okay tonight. I'll sleep well, but whatever. It's just that, you know.
Just think they didn't, it's not out of your account, so
Well, no, I know what you're
That's why
saying.
you'll sleep good.
Yeah, right.
All right, so what's the next thing on the agenda? Let's move on.
Let's see. She added goals, the cancer concern on our goals. So
Yep.
we'll-
Yeah.
we were gonna, I think Bruce, were you gonna look into, or somebody was gonna look, or maybe it was Tina, look into an intern or someone that was gonna do
Was it
Look in the
Tina or
minutes.
was it,
somebody.
was
I
it
forget who
Laura? Was
At the
it Laura?
At the
Was it
last
Laura?
meeting, they were gonna prepare an intern
An ad.
job description that they could put on the website, and I had told them about the handshake.com website.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay.
Okay.
Was that done? Do we know, Bruce?
I'll have to check with Laura. I think she did post something.
I
Okay.
know Laura had mentioned something like that at one time.
It's on our website, on our page.
Yeah, and it'd be
is
the
that right?
same thing, that job description or that posting would be the same thing that the DPW does for their interns, right, Tina? Yeah,
It's
okay.
not on
Yeah.
our website unless it's on, let me look at the homepage.
Yeah, the DPW posts our interns on the Bellingham website and on handshake.com.
Handshakes, okay. Right.
I don't see it on our website.
Okay, well, we can
The
check with
audio?
Laura, Bruce, find out.
I'll check in with Laura, see what she's done.
Okay. All right, next is health
Didn't say.
agent updates and complaints. Anything new on
Uh,
those?
We got
That
two,
front?
I got like two complaints from the same person who frequented some of the local water. And I had gone by each with the updated guidance, restaurant guidance and masks and such, the 20th, March 20th that the governor had done. So I brought them revised, stopped and spoke to them, and told them to try to do their best, that there are a lot of people out there watching, and they do tend to complain a lot if you guys step out of bounds a little. So they were spoken to, went to 4 different establishments with those requirements, and hopefully they get the hang of it.
Was it patrons or was it employees that weren't following the rules?
Both.
Both, okay, both, okay.
All right, next are bills. I have them in front of me, but I can't make the motion,
Okay.
so.
Make a motion, we pay WB Mason $1,117.50. And parentheses, it's COVID related, I guess, the spending.
Yeah, we had to replace that glove
Okay.
stock.
All right, I second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye,
Aye.
Aye.
okay, I'll make a motion. Sorry. Make a motion, we pay WB Mason $61.76.
All right, I second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye,
Aye.
Aye. Motion is unanimous.
okay. Make a motion, we pay Amazon $51.77 supplies.
All right, I second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye,
Aye.
Motion's unanimous. And let's see, authorization affidavit pending. Preliminary application for 118 Yvonne Road. We had this the last time and we didn't have the taxes, but I have it in front of me and it's well within the limits. So if you want to make a motion
okay.
to approve that, I'll sign it.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve the authorization affidavit and the preliminary, the application for 118 Yvonne Road for the betterment loan program for a septic system.
Okay, I second that.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. That is unanimous. Is there something else there, Bruce, for authorization affidavit / pending? That's the same as 118 Yvonne, is that right? You're on mute. You're
What
on
it
mute.
looks like.
I think it said pending and preliminary, but it is.
All right, I
the-
just want to make sure it wasn't something else.
The authorization affidavit is the paper that they're gonna make to put with the application.
Okay,
Bruce was preparing a paper, but then it was gonna be run by town council. After the last meeting, I'm not sure where that stands now, but that's that affidavit that's pending. for the board to approve it so it can go with the package for the betterment loans.
Okay, so we don't
Ah.
have the affidavit, in other words. Okay,
I didn't see that. Let me see.
Oh, there's an affidavit form in your packet.
there is. Okay, I thought I saw it.
The
Okay,
last bill, there's affidavit form. It's for the sign at the time of application that would allow the Board of Health to write checks directly to the engineer and installer.
okay. So did I motion that to approve both the affidavit for the future
We were
use and
gonna,
this
we were
use?
gonna do that when we had it revised, I think.
Okay, okay.
I mean, if you don't have anything to revise on, I haven't heard back from town council. They've had it for a
Oh,
while.
okay. So just let it stand at this point? Don't do anything with that for a minute, for this, at this time? Leave it until town council gets back with us?
I'll send them off another email. They've-
Yeah.
several
Okay.
weeks.
In other words, now that we've approved this application for 118 Yvonne, when they come in and sign off on this, if there's no affidavit, we're in the same position we were before where you can't pay the contractor, the engineer, the whatever. For work done, you have to do two-party payment. So the contractor and the homeowner. Which, like I said, in some cases, the bank doesn't like it, and contractors, they do wait a long time to get paid. So,
The affidavit form though on the top where it says I, and then he's supposed to put the homeowner's name, maybe just homeowner's name, not signature, because then you have, it's duplicate. It's a signature up there and signature of the applicant, so.
right,
When
right.
his name's there.
Yeah, put print there. And I think in this case, Kelly, until council gets back, we could.
Yeah.
If this
Just leave
person
it at
starts to act on it, we could just use that affidavit.
Okay,
know. I mean, it's not gonna be grossly wrong. It just, might
okay.
need some fine-tuned legal work. But
Fine tuning.
I
Okay.
don't think it's,
Um,
I did look at it, looks pretty good to me, whatever.
yeah.
I mean, it's just making the person receiving the money aware that they, if they have a complaint, they call the Board of Health, we'll resolve it. But it's not that issue. It's the issue of the contractor does the work 4 to 6 weeks later. He's paying his employees. He's bought all the materials.
Understood. No, it makes sense. That's why I think it's a good authorization to
Yep,
have.
I think it's good
Yeah.
since
All right.
both ADC and Dave Brown had commented that we're the only town that does it around this area.
Yeah. Okay.
Doesn't do it, rather, excuse me.
All right. Looks like we've satisfied our agenda.
No plans, right, Bruce?
Motion. No plans on the agenda, so.
Okay. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
All right, I second that.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Unanimous.